everybody, it's Chris, known online as Wootini, here with another one of my gay gamer video podcasts. I want to start this week by mentioning, you might recall, the Tom Nook Aloha t-shirt, or the button-up shirt that I had on in the last episode, and I made the comment that unfortunately that and the other t-shirts, like this one, that I bought at the Nintendo store are only available at the Nintendo store. I lied. Most of them are available only at the Nintendo store. The hat, also only available there. But when I checked store.nintendo.com, it turns out that they are actually selling the button-up shirt on the website for $25, and you get a free Isabelle pin. I didn't get a free Isabelle pin in the store. I just got a shirt. So while 90% of the merch in the Nintendo store is only available in the store, it does turn out that you can actually find some of it on the website. So you can order it online if you're unable to get to New York City or Tokyo and visit a Nintendo store. I also wanted to talk about High Score, which is a documentary series that is currently available on Netflix. And if you have Netflix, I recommend it. Check it out. It is good, but not without some problems. It's good because it's not just a movie, it's a 6-part series. So instead of having an hour and a half to 2 hours where you can pick only like one subject or hit just the high points of the history of video games, they've got 6 hours, almost, to spend each episode focusing on a certain aspect of video games. So that was very interesting. So you have an episode about Atari, the rise and fall of Atari. You have one about the rise of Nintendo. You have one about role-playing games, one about 3D shooters, one about fighting games. You know, like they can kind of focus in on a subject and kind of, you know, get into that, and that's really fun. However, I'm hoping that they get another series out of this because, like, they talked about Nintendo, they talked about the Sega Genesis, but, you know, they didn't talk about Sony and the PlayStation, which is also another really interesting subject that would be fun. There's a lot of stuff in here that if you're a video game fan, you're already going to know, but then there's a lot of stuff that you might not know. And it's also fun just to see all the old footage and stuff. And, you know, the old-timey video game commercials and such, it's fun. And, like, hearing, like, for me, like, I know about Nintendo, but, like, hearing about how they created Nintendo Power Magazine, that was kind of fascinating to me. But what I will say is that the show itself, it's good, but the structure of the episodes is not always good. In most of the episodes, they seem to try to shoehorn in some talk about competitive gaming and esports, and sometimes that works, like with the Nintendo episode, and they talk about, you know, the big Nintendo championship that they had, so that's kind of good. But then sometimes it doesn't work because, like for instance, in the one about the fighting games, it starts talking about Street Fighter, and it shows this kid who, now an adult, who, as a kid, was in the Street Fighter World Championships and won, and it was, you know, impressive and all that. Then they talk about Mortal Kombat, and how that, you know, took the Street Fighter thing and turned it into like something even crazier, and like all the gore and the violence and the realistic graphics and all that stuff. So that was leading into talking about controversy in games and the, you know, the ratings, creating the rating system. But as they start to talk about the controversy and how Mortal Kombat, you know, all of a sudden there were all these, like, you know, congressional hearings and stuff, they're like, oh, by the way, remember that kid who won the Street Fighter Championship and is now an adult? Well, he now is the coach of an esports league. And then they show him coaching these kids and explaining how it all works and everything. Then they're like, And now back to the controversy of video games and Mortal Kombat and Night Trap and the congressional hearings and the creation of the rating system. And it was like it just did not flow. And a lot of times the stuff about esports or competitive gaming does not always flow. And also, like, just in general, like, in the first episode they talk about Atari, and it's like the rise and the fall of Atari. And then it's like they ran out of story, and they were like, oh, but the episode, we still have room in our running time, so let's talk about this guy who created the cartridge and developed the idea of a video game cartridge, and basically launched that whole thing and got no credit for it. Now that was fascinating to me because I never knew. No idea. But I feel like it could have been better integrated into the flow of the episode. It just sort of felt tacked on at the end. Just like in the final episode, they're talking about the rise of 3D gaming with, like, you know, Nintendo's Super FX chip and Star Fox, and then, like, Doom and, you know, Wolfenstein and then Doom and everything. And then at the end they're like, let's throw it back to the beginning and Nolan Bushnell and Space Wars. And it's like, shouldn't that have been in the first episode when you were talking about the rise of video games? Talk about the very first one, Space Wars. So it just didn't feel like, structurally it didn't quite work. But it's still an entertaining watch, and I will also give them massive, massive amounts of credit for including some LGBTQIA coverage in there. In the very first episode, there's a trans woman who won the very first Space Invaders competition back in the 70s. That's awesome. And then later when they were talking about Madden, they interview a man who was talking about how, you know, as a black gay man, he never sees himself in the sports, and he never sees himself in the games, and he talks about how he got his job at EA and everything, and it's like, it's nice to see some representation. So that was good. I appreciated that. And I do hope that they get another series, because it was good, and I would like to see them explore more topics. But, you know, like, they talked about the rise of Sega, but they didn't talk about the fall of Sega. So they still could do an episode on that. And like I said, Sony and stuff, and the PlayStation, and then Microsoft, and, you know, whatever. And so I hope they do get another series, because I would like to see some more episodes. And then hopefully they can also maybe structure them a little better, so that they're not quite so awkwardly paced and structured. I also, another topic I wanted to hit on this week was Nintendo's recent Direct, which unfortunately was the Mario 35th Anniversary Direct. So sadly, it's not really directed at me. As I've mentioned in numerous previous episodes, I am not good at platformers, so I don't play them. So, like, the idea of having Super Mario Brothers on a little Game & Watch is really cool. But I don't want it, because I'm not going to play that. Like, I can't get past World 1, you know? It's like, forget it. Alright, maybe 2. But, like, that doesn't do anything for me. And then you have, like, so like, I don't want to play Super Mario Brothers. So then they have Super Mario Brothers 35, which is, like, they took the whole idea of the online Tetris, where you're playing Tetris against 100 people, 99. Here, you're going to play Mario against 34 other people. And as you eliminate enemies, they get sent to other people. And then other people's enemies that they eliminate could get sent to you. And I'm just like, bitch, I can't play Super Mario Brothers, like, by myself. If there's gonna be extra enemies flying in at me, I'm gonna be first out, you know, so, no thank you. And also, not a big fan of racing games, so I've never really gotten into Mario Kart, so this whole Mario Kart Live home circuit, it's awesome looking. It looks like great fun. But like, the idea of, like, controlling a remote-controlled Mario Kart with your Switch, and then, like, driving around your house, it has a camera on it, so that you're seeing the video game with, like, the animations and stuff, but in your house, like, that's super awesome. That's really cool. But not a big fan of racing games. And B, I live in a small Brooklyn apartment. Not really conducive to setting up racetracks and racing around. You'd be bouncing off the furniture and the walls because there's not enough room. That's what these game commercials are so funny, because they always show these people in these big, huge, bright, white fashioned living rooms with like so much space between the couch and the TV, and there's all this room to play in, and it's like woo, and it's like, yeah, a lot of us don't live like that, but thanks for trying. It is cool. Also, I think it's gonna be like super expensive, so no thanks. There was one game in there that I was actually interested in, sort of, and that is the Super Mario 3D All-Stars. That combines Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. Now, the only one of those that I have played is Super Mario 64. And that was back on my Nintendo 64, and I did not ever finish it. I don't remember where I stopped. I don't believe I gave up because I got bored. I believe I gave up because either a level or a boss fight was just too difficult, and I just got frustrated and I said, F this, and I turned it off. Because I don't do platformers. But everyone always raved about Sunshine, and everyone seemed to like Galaxy, and I actually enjoyed Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch, so I'm thinking maybe like those would be more like Odyssey and less like 64, and it would be more of an exploration and fun, and I might enjoy them. So I'm thinking maybe I might think about getting it. The problem is, this is totally one of those things where I'm like, I'll just pick it up like used at GameStop, or when it's like on sale, you know, 6-10 months down the road, and it's like a bargain, you know, player's choice kind of thing. Unfortunately, Nintendo, for some reason, has decided that they're producing a limited number of physical copies of the game, and they're actually going to limit sales of the digital version as well. It goes on sale, I think it's September 13th, don't hold me to that, but it goes on sale in the middle of September, and then they're going to take it off sale 6 months later in March. And I'm like, what? Huh? So that doesn't work. So, like, I understand the whole, like, Super Mario 35, you know, the multiplayer online game celebrating the 35th anniversary of Mario. That's going to be a little weird to play in year 36 without adding a 36th player, you know, like, so that makes sense to me that that's only available for a limited time. But here it's like, I guess they're hoping that they're going to sell so many games now that it'll make up for the fact that they're not going to sell any after March. I don't know. This is why I don't work in marketing or corporate, because I don't get things like this. I mean, I do sort of get it, because there is a part of me that's like, oh, it's only available for 6 months. I should get it now, and even though I'm not going to play it now, I should get it now so that I'll be able to play it later. But, so I sort of get that it creates this artificial urgency to buying the game. Even though I feel like most games sell most in the first month of sales, and then, you know, and then they've got it in the Christmas window so that if people get Switches for Christmas, they can still get this game there. Oh, problem solved. I'm going to put it on my Christmas list. I'm going to put it on my Amazon wish list for Christmas, and I don't know if there will still be physical copies available at that time, but I can always just request the digital version, and somebody can just buy the digital version and then give me the code, and I will download it. Because it is the kind of thing that would be that's the perfect kind of Christmas gift. It's something that you kind of want, but you don't really want to spend $60 on, so give it to me for Christmas, and then that way, if I don't finish the games and really do it, then I don't feel like I've wasted $60 of my own money, I've wasted your money. But maybe I'll enjoy it anyway, I don't know. But it's that kind of thing where I'm like, make it a Christmas gift. So, problem solved. Yay! Glad I talked myself around to that part. And to wrap up, I just want to give a quick update on my LEGO NES. I have begun working on the television set. If you've been following me on Twitter, and you should be following me on Twitter, why aren't you following me on Twitter? I've been posting pictures and video of updates, so you can see now it looks like a television, has, you know, the ports and everything. And then you can see inside there's all the gears and the workings, because you turn this and it makes the screen turn around. I have also begun assembling the conveyor belt thing for the center with the Mario background on it. However, I can't show you that right now. You can see that on Twitter because it doesn't travel. It's all bendy and the pieces will just fall out, and I don't want to break anything. So that's it. So maybe next episode I will have assembled it and put it inside the TV. I may not be completely done, but it might be something cool that I can show off in the next episode. So come back and find out. Bye!